Hello and welcome to today's special edition of the Ardent podcast. I'm John Stott, Group Managing Director. I'm delighted to be hosting this episode as we mark a major milestone in Ardent's journey, welcoming the 200th member of our team. This is a moment to reflect on how far we've come, to celebrate the incredible people who make Ardent what it is today, and to talk about the role that people and culture play in shaping our business. For me, this milestone feels pretty significant. I first joined Ardent back in 2001 as the 7th member of the team. Then fast forward a couple of decades, and after 9 years being away from the business, I returned 2.5 years ago as the 110th member of the team at that stage. So now we're at 200, and that growth tells a real story about the business we're building. Joining me today are two people who've been instrumental in shaping that journey. So first of all, Richard Caton, our CEO, who's led the business through a period of sustained growth and transformation, and also Kate Ramscar, our Head of People and Culture, who plays a vital role in ensuring we continue to develop, support and retain the brilliant individuals that make Ardent what it is. We'll be talking about what this milestone means for us as a business, how our culture has evolved, and what's next as we continue to grow. So let's get started. I'll come in to you, Richard, first of all. Can you remember when we were 50 people?
I remember when we were 2 people, and I remember when we were 50 people because I stood up in front of the team Christmas away day team building event, and I was slightly unprepared because I stood up and I thought, wow, there's a lot of people looking at me, a lot more than there used to be. So that for me was a real moment of awareness of the scaling that we were undertaking.
Yeah, what about you, Kate? Do you remember back we were that size, 50 people?
I do, actually. Funnily enough, I was looking at some numbers the other day and there were 36 people here when I joined. I do remember getting to 50 people and feeling quite proud that we'd started to make some changes in the people space. I could see that Ardent was growing fast with new people joining on a regular basis. When I reflect back and think of that journey, I do feel quite emotional and proud and a little bit wow, actually, especially now being at 200 people. It only feels like 5 minutes ago since we celebrated reaching 100 people back in 2021, and that was a huge achievement. And I still have our Ardent recyclable cup, which our kids use on a regular basis to remind me of that point.
Yeah, sadly, I missed out on the recyclable cups. Richard, you took over leading Ardent back in 2013. So did you make any changes to Ardent's purpose and values at that time?
Yeah, well, in 2013, Ardent was a small company with great potential, and the potential was in the team. It was in the values, and the values were lived by everyone every day. Key values such as owning it and be the difference and enjoy the journey. It meant that every client that used Ardent always came back and used Ardent again. And so we took what was good about Ardent in its behaviours and we really just wrote them down. We looked at what we did, what the team did, and why it was such a fun place to work and why it worked so well. And we just captured that in what we have today as the written Ardent values. The purpose, however, we've modified. And the reason for that is as a small company, the team was internally focused. They're really trained on giving great client service. But in order to live a growth vision, the Ardent purpose needed to be outward looking. So again, all we did was capture in words what Ardent was actually doing and what we were doing through projects such as London Underground Jubilee Line extension and the Docklands Light Railway, extensions to Lewisham, London City Airport and Woolwich Arsenal extension. And really, we were connecting the people of East and South East London to jobs and facilitating regeneration, making life improving change for those communities and providing a beneficial legacy for the future generations. And I guess we now are in the future because that was all 20 plus years ago. And I'm proud to say that we really did bring that beneficial change. It's changed South and Southeast London in many ways. And what we continue to do is deliver life improving change for communities and future generations through all of the projects that we're executing.
Yeah, I remember when we were working on some of those projects going back 15, 20 years ago. And I've just come back from MIPIM and spent quite a bit of time in the London pavilion. And there's a brilliant 3D model of London in there, takes up most of the pavilion. And it's just amazing when you look at what's happened in East London and how that regeneration has all been really facilitated by the transport projects that we were working on back then. and it's brought about economic growth, and it's brought about so many new housing units for people, made a massive difference to people's lives. But it's just quite staggering when you look at it on a model. So what sort of role, Richard, do you see that culture plays in making the growth successful?
So I see culture as our values. It is our behaviours, and therefore culture is what we do every day and how we do it. And the Ardent culture is a growth mindset. And our teams are always looking to learn, improve and drive and adapt to change. And without that culture, we would find growth much more challenging than we have. But more importantly, without that culture, we just wouldn't be Ardent. And you talk about the change in London. It sounds like you find that quite exciting, and I do too. Change, development, improvement is really exciting, whether it's the City of London or whether it's Ardent as an organisation and the people within Ardent, their own development journeys. Change and development is always exciting.
Yeah, completely agree. And Kate and I were on a call earlier today where we were looking at recruitment. I think we've got about another 20 people due to be joining the company in the next couple of months. So we might be recording a 250 people podcast soon. But Kate, with that many new joiners coming into the business, how do you and your team ensure that new joiners feel part of the culture from day one?
Yeah. So as we all know, culture starts at the top. So this starts with the CEO and the senior leadership, with Richard having been here since the very start. And obviously you, John, too, having started at Ardent 20 years ago, it's fair to say that you both drive that culture for sure. So one of the things we've introduced is an induction day. We have many people from across the business, Richard, John, yourself, the managing directors, heads of and other managers, coming to meet our people and sharing insights and knowledge in their directorates. Everybody at Ardent is agreed that we want all our new joiners to get off to the best start. We want them to feel confident and we want them to understand how the business works. We always get really good feedback on the days. A lot of people give us feedback that they don't get to meet senior managers or the CEO on joining a business, whereas you're more than likely to meet or speak to Richard and John within your first few weeks on joining Ardent. It's fair to say that we combine it with some social and fun stuff as well. So it's always a really good day for us.
Yeah, what a treat that is for people. In all seriousness, I love it. I really love having the intro calls with new starters to the business and just getting to know them and understand a little bit about them and what makes them tick, and be able to tell them about, what our business is about and how important our purpose is to us. And I also love the induction days as well. I try not to miss any of those because it's just great to be able to present to the new starters and, as you say, the socializing after them as well. So as we've continued to grow, Kate, how do you make sure that we value the opinions of our people and take those into account?
Yeah, one of the initiatives actually that we delivered this financial year was the implementation of the shadow board. So at Vision event last year, we asked our people to vote for key cultural and EDI changes that they would like to see that would really mean something to them. The shadow board was voted head and shoulders above everything else. It was a totally new idea for us. We went into it with an open mind. To be honest, not really knowing what to expect in terms of applications, whether we'd be inundated or whether we wouldn't receive any at all. We received an overwhelming response of applications, and it's another moment of feeling really proud of our people. The passion and quality of the applications was just brilliant to read. Our people voted for the shadow board members. It was a totally anonymous process and it was taken out of our hands. It was great to kick 2025 off with the shadow board having their first meeting in January. And they are supported by 4 working groups: people in EDI, health and safety and wellbeing, innovation and ESG. We're really looking forward to working with the shadow board, supporting us on our journey to becoming B Corp accredited and delivering our business objectives. So the shadow board is a really good example of how we took the opinions of our people into consideration.
Yeah, just worth adding to that. But I've spent a few days away with John Sayer this week, and John obviously chairs our shadow board, and he's just sort of been speaking to me just on the flight back about how exciting it is for him to be chairing the shadow board, because the amount of enthusiasm there is from the members of that board is just infectious. And it's great that people right throughout our business care so much about what we do and how we do it. So one of the other things that I think makes us fairly unique and I think is really beneficial to our people is how people can move and grow across different parts of a business, so between different teams. Richard, coming to you on this, why do you think that's something that's important?
It's personal for me, which makes it personally important, because I've benefited from exactly this through hard work and a growth mindset. I've developed from the role of graduate land referencer through to chartered surveyor, director, and ultimately CEO. Without the opportunity that Ardent provides through its growth, without the culture that Ardent has to support that, I couldn't have achieved it. And personal growth and the reward of a developing career brings immense self-fulfillment. And whilst not everyone wants my journey, everyone that loves Ardent loves it because they're able to fulfill their own growth journey. And this is one of Ardent's X factors. And there are so many of our people, including you, John, who's also started at Ardent as a graduate land referencer and now the group managing director. But I guess there's two people that spring to mind when I think about this, and they're Ellie and Liv, who again both started Ardent as graduate land references in 2018. And they became chartered surveyors in 2023, and both now practice in our valuation and compensation team. So they made that change from land referencing, developing their base skills, understanding how projects work, how we deliver projects at Ardent, becoming chartered and transferring department to be able to practice in valuation and compensation. And it's really exciting to see that happen. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah, it's just, as you say, I benefited from that. And I think, it's really helped me to have a good understanding of so many other different services that we offer and developing that through my career. So, Kate, how does your team support people who want to develop in different areas of the business?
Yeah, so once we passed the 100 people milestone, it became clear to me that we needed to change what we did and change our approach. What worked for us as a small business wasn't going to work for us as a larger business. We set the objective to make a change to implement people leadership. And this is about moving the business to a culture of greater accountability and empowerment, focusing on our people-centric culture, making sure that we've got the right people leaders supporting their teams and giving their people the best possible experience. For me, the power is really in those conversations and the relationships between the people leaders and their teams, those open conversations, focusing on where they want to go, their careers and helping them get there. I think we all recognise that people excel best in roles that are aligned to their strengths and that they enjoy. And it's those conversations, supporting people with where they want to go and identifying those opportunities for them. We have a competency framework that is in place across the business, which provides transparency for our people so they can see the different roles that exist. And then it's really supporting those people leaders, making sure that they have those cross-directorate relationships, they're aware of the opportunities and they're tuned into their people and they can in turn provide those opportunities for them. The challenge to people leadership is really exciting. Obviously Ardent are growing really quickly and I'm really excited that it puts us in a position ready to support that next stage of our growth. To measure that success, we use Gallup 12, or we will be using Gallup 12 engagement platform so that we can clearly see and track how our people are feeling, putting more accountability and empowerment in the hands of our people leaders so that they can make the improvements and support their people. In addition to that, we have a coaching program, which Richard will talk more about, but people leaders and coaches can work together to support people in identifying those career pathways. They can support them both personally and professionally. Yeah, we really believe that at Ardent, everybody can fulfill their career aspirations. The business is growing really quickly. The directorates are growing. We're growing geographically. So with our current growth trajectory, that will just naturally bring more opportunities for our people.
Yeah, completely agree. That's one of the things that I think is most important about growth and, making sure that as a business grows, everybody in the business has opportunity to develop and grow their careers in the way that they want to. So, Richard, in terms of coaching, I know one of the things we talk about quite a lot and is how proud we are of how much we try and invest in our people through qualifications and ongoing learning, but particularly coaching. Can you just tell me a little bit more about that program?
Yeah, so for ease, we use the term coaching to describe coaching and mentoring, makes it easier. But the facts around coaching are indisputable. 80% of people who receive coaching report increased self-confidence. Over 70% benefit from improved work performance, improved relationships, and more effective communication. So for these reasons and sort of other reasons, allows our people to develop faster, and it makes it a more accessible way of learning. But the thing I really love about it is it allows real-time problem solving. And so if you have an issue, You can speak with your coach. You can get into a position of having some options and things to implement and try. You can go immediately to implementing them and understanding what works and why it works. And then you can have a debriefing session with your coach as well. It really embeds the learning and it becomes very, very effective. So at Ardent, we're unique because everybody at Ardent at the start of a financial year has a coach. And because Ardent has many of the best practitioners in the industry across all of the services that we offer, then our people have access to those people's knowledge. And it really, really is powerful when you approach it in this way. And coaching isn't an isolated practice. People leaders use the tools of coaching and mentoring as well to support their people. And learning and development is a priority because it feeds that growth mindset and supports and maximizes the opportunities of the growth company through those career journeys. So I think, though, for me, probably both unselfish and selfishly, I enjoy coaching because I get the opportunity to give back, but also I always learn something. It always provides space for reverse mentoring. So I come away from my coaching sessions having learned more and having, improved myself as a leader and a coach too.
Yeah, completely understand that. I think that wasn't necessarily something that we expected to get so much from. I think the sort of the reverse element coaching, but I find it massively beneficial to me as well. So, Kate, with your team, what else do you and your team do to help people develop in the business?
So as we've said, Ardent is full of opportunity and we want to support our people develop. We also have an academy to support people through their professional qualifications, focusing on APC, APM, and people who are on the ASSOT RICS pathway as well. That includes talks from people internally and externally. And we do site visits. We're proud to have a 100% pass rate for APM and APC, which is great. We're a member of the Major Projects Association, which offers access to seminars and reading about leading changes in our industry. And we actively encourage and support people to sign up to interest in groups to further develop their knowledge and come back to the business and share those learnings and opportunities with their colleagues.
I know quite a few people have members now. Richard, just going back to coaching, is there a standout coaching success story that you can highlight?
It's probably quite tricky, because I love it so much. I invest my time in coaching around 20 people, and I couldn't pick, just one from that group of people alone, notwithstanding all of the other people that coach. But I think it's fair to say that across the board of the 20 people that I coach, they have grown in self-confidence. Their ability to manage clients' expectations and exceed them is really developed through. And in almost all cases, people have been promoted much faster than they would have been able to without benefit of coaching. I'm not going to name an individual. I'm just going to say that it's pretty successful across the board.
It's perhaps a slightly harsh question to try and push you to name an individual. So fair enough. Kate, sort of looking to the future, and so we've got another 20 people joining us and we're going to be continuing to grow across the UK, Ireland, quite possibly elsewhere. What can new and existing employees look forward to as we evolve?
Opportunity, and loads of it. As you said, we're continuing to grow. We opened in the Republic of Ireland last year. We're looking at other locations, and that's just going to create more opportunities for our people to move about and develop their careers. So opportunity for sure.
And Richard, what's next from your point of view? What excites you most about the future as we continue to grow?
We're only partway through our growth vision and the big bits still to come. So these include service development and geographical expansion. But our vision is to be a global mark of excellence, and therefore the vision's global. So beyond the UK and Ireland where we're currently operating, we're looking beyond, and we're already researching Australia, which I think is a front runner as our next step. And this growth provides opportunity for our people, opportunity in terms of careers, but also opportunity to where they work.
Yeah, I agree. We're only just getting started and it's really, really exciting. It's been a really good discussion, really interesting to kind of look back and think about where we've come from and how we've developed over time. And I think back to when I first joined Ardent, and we didn't openly talk a huge amount about purpose and values, but we were a really small group of people, and our culture kind of spoke for itself. It didn't need writing down. Values didn't necessarily need writing down at the time. The people embodied them. But I think as we've grown and matured and thought more about it, I think it's become so important to focus, as we have done, on culture, and obviously changing the name from HR to people and culture demonstrates sort of how we've applied that focus. And I think, as I said earlier, one of the key things for me, and I think that you guys have just brought out there, is how the growth of the business helps the individuals within the business, the team, to grow their careers and develop in different ways and move from one directorate to another and learn new technical skills and potentially move from one location to another. I know a couple of people have moved over from England to Ireland, for example, and taken opportunities to do that. So I think it's been a really good discussion, really exciting to Mark getting to 200 people and looking to what the future holds. But if I can push you for one word, and I might allow you a sentence, what is the one word or sentence that describes what makes this business special? I'll come to you first, Kate.
Okay, I'm going to try and sneak in a few more words, actually, if that's okay. I don't think I can summarize it in one word.
I knew you would.
Our people and our culture, and we have some brilliant people who work at Ardent, and I feel really proud of them and everything that we've achieved and continue to achieve.
Yeah. Richard?
I'm going to stick to one word, which I haven't already, which is opportunity.
No, I agree. That's really exciting. Look, thank you both very much for your time. It's been fun to do a bit of a one-off podcast, but I think it's an important thing to Mark, getting to 200 people. It's kind of interesting to look back and see where we've come from and think about where we're going. So thank you both very much. Thank you to everybody who's listened to the podcast. Make sure you get in touch and ask us any questions if you want to do so. Richard or Kate or myself, always happy to answer questions from people in the team or people outside the business as well. So thank you.